Welcome, everyone, to the Tell Me More podcast. It's a formula that we as speakers create to engage everyone and to ask one question. What do we want everyone to ask us once we finish our speeches, once we finish our products, introducing ourselves in front of the teams, our products, our services? We want everyone to ask us one question. Tell me more. We all want everyone to ask us this question. So this is why we have a special guest today, Alex Dumas. Welcome to the show. Alex, he is a dynamic keynote speaker. He's in the comprehensive leadership development programs and transform confidence into strategic advantage that drives performance, retention, and long-term organizational growth. Welcome, Alex, and tell us a little bit about you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Margarita. Pleasure to be here. Glad to serve and connect with your audiences, you as well. And regarding your question, I'm someone who lives in North Carolina now, but I was born and raised in New York and Long Island. And for most of my life, I had this idea or thought that my voice didn't matter, or I wasn't important, or I was invisible. All these interesting thoughts we have as as youngsters, and I laugh about that now because someone who was kind of quiet at home, shy at some places, a little bit of a class clown in school, like formal elementary school, middle school, high school, to now being someone who speaks on stages, who is coaching leaders and serving emerging leaders through this work that I do, whether it's through my podcast, through books, through speeches and presentations and podcasts and interviews like this. So I'm somebody who is been on both sides of the fence, as someone who's kind of been a wallflower, who kind of want to be invisible, hang back, don't bother me, to someone who's front and center, whether it's speaking or emceeing or whatever it is. So there's a lot of layers to me. So I'll start with that and land that plane right here.
Thank you so much for this amazing introduction of who you are and the layers that you bring to the show. Before we dive into how to get people to lean into our message, I want to ask you, how did you get from being invisible, like you describe it, right? It's like, I know I relate to it because I was invisible. I was voiceless. I never spoke up, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I create also emerging leaders, and this is why I'm always coaching how to speak with confidence. But I really love your approach, and I really want to know, how did you get to confidence from where you were before?
Yes, great question. I'll start the story. This is really the origin story of me as a speaker. So we're recording this in 2026 right now. I'm gonna rewind back to 2015, where a lot of these seeds started to bloom. So in a 90-day span, Margarita, my life was up here and my world fell apart. So let me walk you through this. April 22nd, my son is born. So we already have my wife and I have our daughter. She's a rising kindergartner, about 4.5 at the time. We have this newborn. Life is good. Life is perfect. I did the thing that my parents asked, go to school, get a degree, get a job, have a family, have kids, have a dog, and life will be that. You just die, you retire, and that's what it is. So he's born. This is a Wednesday. Saturday morning, I wake up to a voicemail, timestamp 12:46. And I don't know about you, Margarita, but usually a call or a voicemail after midnight is usually not good news. And in this case, it wasn't. My mother passed away. My father left me a message informing me that she was gone. So here we are, this seesaw. Life is great. Son born. Ooh, mom gone. Ouch. Fast forward 3 months later, same year. This is all in 2015. I'm let go from my job. So now here I am, an unemployed father of two, a grieving son. My wife is recovering and on bed rest and trying to nurse the baby and all these different things. And somewhere in the middle of this, Margarita, I decide I'm going to start a business. I take my first stab at being an entrepreneur in the financial services realm. I have some success, but with all these pressures, with all this emotion, I didn't have a system or a way of processing all this. I was just trying to power through it. Just, all right, just there's no time to think, right? Just newborn, like life just goes on. The show goes on. So fast forward now to 2016, business is crashing and burning. My wife says to me, you have to get a job. And I take that as like, I take that personally, like, oh, this is, how does she not believe in me? I can do this. But in reality, I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to produce. But that setback was really the best thing that ever happened for me, because I landed a sales role and it introduced me, it really like immersed me into the world of professional speaking, coaching, digital marketing. And that light inside of me turned on once I started seeing speakers at conferences and making offers, and just the overall vibe. And I thought to myself, wow, this is the room I want to be in. I want to do something with my life. I want to be more than I can be. I want to be an MVP in my life. But that's 2016, Margarita. I stayed on the sideline, as I call it, not speaking, or at least in this incubation period, for about 6 years. It wasn't until 2022 where I got an opportunity to MC, speak, and organize an event. And once again, that internal light turned on. I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, right? I had the microphone in my hand. The lights are blaring, right? I'm sweating underneath my suit. People are screaming. It's loud, it's crazy, and it's chaotic. And I was loving every second of it. And I realized, wow, this is what it looks like when I'm uncaged, right? When I'm just fully in my element, reacting to people, creating a scene for folks, creating an environment. And I haven't looked back since. So that's the cliff notes of this part of the journey.
I just love that. And I have to say, I have to give you a feedback and reflection back. I think, Alex, you are an incredible human being.
Thank
So
you.
everything that you shared, I just saw through your heart and your soul and your desire to help your environment, but also the humanity with that. So thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah.
As a strong
Understanding.
communicator as you are, I want you to explain to us, to all of us, how do you make people to lean in to your message?
That's a great question. I would say a lot of it is all the stuff that you don't see on the stage, right? It's the pre-work. I like to call it the pre-game. So I like to think in sports analogies. Sports is, a great metaphor for life, but I think it's all about the practice. So as I'm preparing for presentations, I'm thinking about, how is this gonna land with somebody? How do I pause here? Right, just these technical things, but also making sure that I'm a partner with that event organizer, because at the end of the day, I'm an extension of their vision. Right, when I'm having pre-planning calls with them, I'm trying to dig in, like, hey, what is your audience? Who are they? Who are they? If I don't really know that market, who are they? What are the challenges they're having? What do you want them to walk away with after I'm done speaking? Right. I think at the beginning, my speaking style was really more self-serving. It was like, I'm going to tell my story, Margarita. I'm going to just lay out the whole thing. And it's like, okay, the story is great, but now how does this help me? Right, at the end of the day, it's a great tale, great story, but how does this help me win? And I tell the story that I just shared with you about 2015, mom passing, all that kind of stuff, and really helping them look at, how do we become more resilient? How do we face challenges and obstacles, and how do we create opportunities from them? So to wrap this up, that pre-work, right? Everything that happens before the stage, and literally is, am I going through the slide deck? Am I practicing? Am I doing dress rehearsals? I call that, where I'm wearing the actual outfit I'm going to wear on stage, where I'm wearing my shoes, where I'm wearing the socks. I'm going through it like a walkthrough, so that the first time I say it, the words, and I'm doing the presentation, is not in front of a live audience. Now I'm panicking. Now I'm thinking, wait, did I say this here? The clock's running. People are watching. You have to start on time, end on time. People are waiting for you to deliver some gems. So I don't ever want to show up and freeze and, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, no, here we are, and we rock and roll. So hopefully that answers your question about that.
Yes, definitely. And I definitely see that it's all about the service for you. But
Yeah.
also I heard a lot of the techniques that you use. It's not techniques, I call it techniques, but it's actually something that you naturally use that creates more trust. Would you say that this is what's opening up the door for the trust between you and the audience?
Yeah, for sure. Because these different pieces or boxes of trust, right? The organizers already trust in me by inviting me onto their stage, similar like to you. You're inviting me onto this podcast. You're vouching for me with your audience that, hey, this guy is good. He knows what he's talking about, and you're actually going to learn something. So there's that trust. Now I have to bring the trust to myself. Like, do I know what I'm talking about? Am I an expert in this? Have I done the research? Have I lived these experiences? And how do I tie this in with the theme? How do I tie this in with the listener? And then as I'm on site at an event, some of the basic things, and I say basic, but sometimes common sense, basic things are not always understood. So showing up early, if I get an opportunity to show up a day early, I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk with the sponsors. I'm going to mingle with people. I want to make a friend before I step on the stage. And you can kind of look at it like almost like being like a politician, right? Like, I'm kissing the babies, I'm shaking hands, I'm taking pictures. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to use some of the stories that people are sharing with me, right? If I'm at I do a lot of work with associations and professional learning and development groups, human resources. So I'll start collecting stories like, hey, tell me about this, or what happened when this project fell apart, or what happened when this didn't go well, right? And then I spit it back out to them at the stage. They're like, "Oh my gosh, he knows me. He's talking about me." Like, yeah, I'm paying attention. I'm actually listening to what you're saying. So I think all of these things foster trust, and they create an environment where folks are engaged. They want to come back. They want to learn more. Like as you say, tell me more, and it's fun for me because I get to show up, do my thing, kind of be a mini rock star for that 30, 45, 60-minute time on stage, and then afterwards sticking around, right? Not just being the guy at the club is like, hey, I'll call you later sometime. No, I'm staying with you. I'm committed to the success of the event. So I think that's something that speakers can adopt more of, right? It's not just about getting the suitcase, blow and go. It's like, no, slow down for a second. You're going to be here. So be with the people, see the other speakers, support them, take some pictures, take some videos, like really create a space where you are now a resource for people, not just, all right, yeah, he's a speaker. No, I'm a partner with your group. I'm a partner in your organization versus, a hitman, or, a mercenary, a guy for hire. You just, you paid his guy and now he's going. No, I'm here. I'm part of the family now. Right, Uncle Al is at the table. Set a spot for me. I'm sitting down. We're here to eat together.
You're very present with your audience, I would say.
Yeah.
And I really want to ask you also, what intentional language do you use to connect to your audience?
That's a great one. I think it depends. I mean, a lot of my signature talk, I call it "Win from Within: How High Performing Leaders Build Unshakable Confidence Under Pressure." So I'm speaking to some of the specific language I give. It's about turnover or things like that, the buzzwords that they understand. But I'm focused on speaking like possibility and things like imagine, right? Let's create, let's do these things, because at least in my experience, I feel like we're all mini versions of ourselves, right? There's a little 6-year-old Alex, probably a little 7, 8-year-old Margarita in there who wants to be heard, who wants to be seen, who wants to be acknowledged. So how about I do that? And I build in interactive exercises within my presentations so people can do that. So it's not just a lecture. I often say with my talks, this is a dialogue, is not a monologue. And I think from the start of that, my experience, that really helps the listener. It helps create the listening for them, and they have a great experience. So those types of things, that language, right? And try not to be too what I call like jargony or coach speak or speaker talk.
Yeah,
I want to just be a human. We're
conversational.
humans.
Yeah, to have a
Yeah,
conversation.
conversational.
Yes.
Right. I'm not gonna go like, all right, well, the propensity of the what? What are you talking about?
I love that.
No.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So another question for you: one technique that you can share right now that the listeners can take right away, and this technique can spark a tell me more moments.
Oh, this is great. So there's 2 ways that this could happen, right? As we like those first 15 to 30 seconds, right? That's where we can potentially lose our audience. And I'm raising my hand because this is I'm self-confessing, self-declaring that some of the earlier engagements, wow, thank you, I'm so glad to be here. This is so right. It's like, okay, what I've learned is, all right, someone makes an introduction to me, and then I go into my thing, right? Just holding that pause, it's like, what's going on? What's he gonna say? What's going on? And then I open up with, maybe a quote or something like that, or a statement, or an interactive game like, hey, by show of hands, blah blah blah. But just anchoring myself, allowing the audience to be like, okay, now the space is created for them to listen. I can share and be comfortable on the stage. And at the end of the day, it's my stage. I have the microphone now. This is my moment, but you're all included in the moment with me. But I want to make sure that I set the table for that first. So if I'm coming, and I've been guilty of this too, the audience is maybe at like this zone, and I come in, all right, everybody, like, whoa, time out.
Yes.
Right, I'm a high energy guy, so I got to baby step folks into it. So by the
Yeah.
end, they're like, "Yeah, I got people screaming and singing, like it's a whole deal. It's
I
a
just
concert."
love what you said right now. Baby steps into your high energy. I just love that because sometimes you don't know where you meet the audience. Maybe
Yeah,
they just got out and pulled themselves from the bed and they drag themselves to this room, and you want to give them an opportunity to connect to your high energy. Baby steps. I love that. I just love that.
yeah. Thank you.
Another question I have for you, Alex. It's one inspirational message. You can share more than one, but I really want one powerful inspirational message that you heard from the audience after your talk, after your speech.
Oh my goodness. So last year I spoke at a student leadership conference out in North Carolina, and these are high school students for the most part. So I do my presentation, and students wanted to come up to me afterwards, take pictures. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, right? It feels good. It may be feeding the ego, so I'll say that there, but it does feel good. It's like, hey, like I'm a little bit of a celebrity, and I use a platform called Takoda. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a way for speakers to gather real time feedback and data from their audience, testimonials, reviews, anything like that, or people just identifying themselves as, I want to book you as a lead, or I know somebody you refer. So that's that part of it. But with the testimonials, one of the things that this one young lady says, like, he's the best speaker I ever heard. I was like, wow. I had to really sit with that. It'd be easy to dismiss it, right? 10 years ago, Alex would have been like, oh yeah, she doesn't know anything, like, of course she's right. I would have just like blown it off, like, yeah, best speaker, yeah, she probably hasn't heard anybody yet, or I would have put myself down. But at the sitting and anchored, I'm like, wow, the words I said, the presentation I delivered, the way I was able to connect with them, it inspired this person to write something like that about me. Wow, okay, that puts a battery in your back in those lonely days, those moments where you may be getting some rejection emails from events, or things aren't moving as fast as you want, right? I can go back into that and just be like, wow, okay, I'm the best speaker that this person ever heard. There's somebody out there who hasn't heard me yet. Who's next?
Yes, definitely. I love that. Well, they see your heart and they get inspired. But definitely when you turn to your audience, there is one technique that we always use as speakers. And when I coach speakers, I do that as well. I tell them, especially emerging leaders, emerging speakers, I tell them, turn to one person in the audience and just talk to them. What do you think about this approach?
I love it. And this is something that I've gained a lot from being a member of Toastmasters. One of my friends and a mentor to me, he gave me this great acronym, Margarita. He said, STOP, STOP, stop. Single thought, one person. And when I started, I was very much darting around the room, like, all right, so it's so hard. It was a challenge for me to like contain the energy, like bottle it up. But now as I get comfortable with my story, obviously more stage time, more speak. The more we speak, the better we are. And then I can just lock in with that person, and I'll get into the crowd. I'll go into the audience. So I always kind of set people up. I'll let them know, like, hey, has anybody ever seen me speak before? Okay, buckle up because I'm coming with you, right? And
Or you
I'll be in
coming
the
with me.
crowd, and I'll be like almost kneecap to kneecap. What we're here together. But I make sure, like, that's why I do the prep work before. Like, I want to make a friend before that, so they know, okay, it's not weird now. It's not awkward. Like, oh my God, what's this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
It's all right. Now we're having this conversation. We're really deep here, you and I, and then the other people are like, I want him to be drawn with me too, right? And that's exciting. That's what magnetizes people. That's what people can remember. And there's like countless times of folks coming like, wow, you really felt like you were talking to me. Like, yeah, I was talking to you. Even though I was going to this person, I'm here with you, like all of you. We're here together as one.
Thank you so much. It's in this short conversation together, I definitely know that I want to know more about you, and I know that the listeners would want to know more about you. And we will include all the links to connect with you under this conversation. I do want you to say last things that you want to say to the audience, to the listeners right now, maybe some inspiration from your side for them.
Yeah, for sure. I do a daily podcast that's called Love Serve Care. It's a 3-minute show. I've been doing this for 5+ years. And what I say on the end of this of every episode, it's more than just a tagline or a cute catchphrase. It's really a core belief of mine. And I hope that for you watching this, for you listening to this, that you just take a moment, right? Just wherever you are right now. Hopefully you're not driving. Take a moment where you are. Just grind yourself for a second and hear these words and hopefully let them sink into your body. And what I share is that you are born to live your life in abundance. You are the master of your future. You control your freedom, and you have complete dominance of your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits. And if you get that, the world is yours.
Oh, thank you. It's landed so yeah, it's the right spot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just one quick thing, last thing that I want to ask you, looking back on this moment, because I do know that also a lot of people would have those questions about their heads, and I myself, I always ask those questions. Looking back at this moment, that when your wife told you, go to find a job, what is the blessing that you seeing yourself today, and that's challenging moments that you met in the past?
I would say be open, be humble, because I was closed off in the mentality that I had back then, where it's got to be this way. I'm gonna figure out a way. I'm just gonna grind and power my way and fight the world if I have to. And what has served me in part of my framework, what I teach from the stage is called WIN, WIN, and that N part is for network. And what I recognize is that when I win, I'm aligned with my own self-worth. I'm aligned with like my intentions, my focus, and I'm also reaching out to people. I'm seeking help. I'm getting support. The network of speakers that I know, of coaches, of people who have just been able to pour encouragement into me, who have referred me for things, who have just been able to shout me out, speak my name in rooms that I wasn't in, and that gets me into those rooms. That's been crucial. And I'll say this last part for you, Margarita. That's the winning part. When I've lost or when I lose, so to speak, well, it's when I'm a lone wolf, when I can just do it all by myself and I got it and I don't need nobody else's help. When I'm overthinking, should I do this? Should I do that? Where do I go? What's next? Too many thoughts. When I'm self-sabotaging, when I'm getting in my own way, oof, ouch. Worst enemy we can be is our own. And then E, when I start making excuses. Oh, well, I was gonna do this, but my kids. I was gonna bring this program, but then I didn't. And so that's how we lose. But there's a special letter that wasn't included, the R, right? Sometimes I confused it with me being a loser, but I was only a loser because I was R repeating the same mistakes, knowing better and choosing not to do better. So I can choose to win or I can choose to lose. It's all a game, but I'm here to play. I'm here to win.
I love all the techniques, all the wisdom words that you shared with us today. And I appreciate your presence here, and we're definitely gonna follow up with you, and everyone can follow up with you also using all the links underneath the conversation. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Alex, for being here today. And to all the listeners, we are here to make people ask us, tell me more. Let's make it happen together, because only together we can win.